Hello everyone, Chastity here. I'm reaching out to talk about some hard truths that we're going through as a collective, not only as a collective, but also many people I'm seeing that are really struggling right now with some hard truths. And how do we address that? How do we talk about, and how do we come to terms with reality not being what we thought it was? How, when we're waking up as an individual and as a collective, how do we handle that? When it creates a lot of emotional discord, and we have put our trust in society. We've put our belief systems into our everyday world, into our everyday actions, the way that we think, the way that we get up every day. It's routine after routine. We're told that this is what we're supposed to do. You go to work, you follow the rules, you do the things, and things are falling apart right before our eyes. How we've managed a day-to-day life has been different, right? We're just slowly coming out of lockdowns that have been quite significant, and I think that there's been some real beauty in these lockdowns, in the sense that we've had the opportunity to adjust to what an awakening on a collective level is looking like, and on an individual level. Time and time again, I'm hearing from clients, from people that, I don't really feel affected. I'm being reminded that what's important in my life, and that's yourself, self-care, self-responsibility, being close and reconnecting with your family, whether that be your significant other, your children, your mother or father, however that's looking to you. A lot of people are able to take the time and listen to spirit, listen to and when I say listen to spirit, it's not necessarily some beings coming down from the ethers, right? Like, you are a spirited being, you're a multidimensional electromagnetic being, and have these different aspects to you, and that's something I strongly believe in. And when we're listening to spirit, we're really having the opportunity to listen and connect with ourselves, right? And when we connect with ourselves in this spiritual way, we're then able to connect to spirit in such a bigger fashion, in an understanding that eternal oneness is what we're connected to. And speaking of the eternal oneness that we're connected to, we're really dealing with some truths, some really hard, I call them third dimensional truths. And that is that we're in the midst of the dark night of the soul on a planetary level, and things are really being turned upside down. The world as we know it is being turned upside down. Left is right and right is left. And there are some people really holding on to their truths and their beliefs, and these are oftentimes fear-based. We have learned to live a life that has protected us, but only protected us in the sense that it's a false reality. So coming from the space of, we've always been told what to do and how to be, and now what we're realizing and what we're waking up to is that those were controlling aspects. So how we've been operating in our world has really been about how we're being told to operate, and this is something, as I can take myself for instance. I have always been told that I'm a good mother or a good friend because of X, Y, and Z. And so then I buy into that narrative. And then the moment that I hear that somebody doesn't agree with that, or somebody says to me, oh, I really don't like that flowered dress. I have a flowered dress on, right? Like, say somebody says, I really don't like that. And that makes me feel blank, 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 uncomfortable, makes you look this particular way, and then I have that opportunity to buy into that narrative, and then I can take that person's opinion and take that person's viewpoint or justification, and then say, oh, the fact that I have on a flowered dress has made this person feel that way. There's no responsibility for anything. And it's something that perhaps happened to them, something triggers something. I'm being super on the surface about my example, so it's not a very in-depth example. But I can go a little bit deeper. Let's go a little bit into like group think, right? So like mass consciousness group think. I have teenage girls, and they are very much into what society wants them to be. They've learned through public education, perhaps through their friends, and perhaps their peers, right? Their friends, their peers, but mostly the public school system has really indoctrinated our children to believe what they want them to believe. Everybody in school is meant to believe that having a glass of milk a day is good for you. It's good for your bones. It's good for your body. It's good for all of these things that they're being told it's good for. And in actuality, we're not baby cows, right? So milk is actually not good for our bodies. Milk actually depletes calcium from our bones. And it doesn't matter to an entity or a controller group, or in this case we're talking about the public school system, that is indoctrinating our children into believing this narrative. They're going to be told what certain histories are. They're going to be told how they need to respond to these histories, and how to move forward in life based off of them. This is a narrative that has been mapped out. This is a consciousness that we have been in agreement to. And what's happening is people are realizing that this is a false reality, or this is a false sense of security, and these are things that we do not have to agree with. And this is called the Great Awakening, right? This is the age of Aquarius. This is the time when things are shifting and changing, and people are waking up to, oh my gosh, hold on, I'm starting to be able to read and understand that what you're saying to me is not true, that it's not real. And when we wake up in droves like this is what turns the system upside down, right? This is what exposes the deep state. This is what exposes, and you know, so our government, our public schools, the pharmaceutical or medical industry, the religions, and our higher ups, CIA, FBI, those kinds of things, and putting these all into a package that looks so nice, and you know, picture it in this beautiful blue Tiffany box, right? All these amazing structures. And what's happened is we've ripped into that. It's like this beautiful package gets ripped open, and inside is an old fruit cake that you got from grandma 2 Christmases ago. I don't know. I'm just using that as it doesn't. It's not as beautiful as the wrapping, right? It's not what you wanted. It's not what you expected, and that's what's happening. Everything's being exposed. It's being exposed because the Christ consciousness has really anchored into this planet. Our bodies are shifting, which means our emotions are shifting, our minds are shifting, our spirit is shifting, everything is shifting. We're having higher contact abilities. We're able to see better now when someone or something, like a business entity, is lying to us. It's like the veil is so thin, and in some instances not even there. So we're able to read this, and it's on an energetic level. So it's like when we read or hear or feel something, we actually are feeling it. Pardon the noise for a minute. We're actually feeling it and able to sense it or realize it in a different fashion, in a different way, and then we're able to create our own reality from that, which is truer. It's a truer reality than what we've been force-fed all of these hundreds of thousands of years. And the mass hysteria is a level of fear that these controller groups are helping to create, but with their narrative, but also when our belief systems are exposed and the way that we've lived our lives is being challenged, it creates lots of fear. It creates lots of pain, and it creates lots of confusion, because how could we have been betrayed like that? And so I hope that I'm making sense so far, and making it as easy to understand as possible, but also trying to uncover some things that maybe you didn't think about. When somebody comes and speaks their truth or wants to share something with you that they are not privy to, but see different than you, and the immediate reaction is anger, frustration. Anger and frustration we're seeing a lot of. I'm seeing that even in my own home, and I'll just share openly with some of the topics, some of the narratives that are being out into mass media, mainstream media, that are being published right now and being fought for right now, have created so much rage in people. And there are several different reasons for that, but the one of the topics that I want to focus on is the fact that we're able to see and read energy signatures much better now. And the people that have been able to do this for a long time now are really holding the line on this and able to amplify that field of light and that field of truth as other people start to awaken and see the truth to this. And so there are different levels of fear coming through, and it's the fear of some that are just waking up and saying, yes, oh my gosh, I see this, I'm so mad, I'm so upset, I feel so betrayed, and you know, they're going to fight back on that, and that's kind of, you know, the front line of the boots on the ground kind of people, like they're waking up and now they're forging this path of fire. I don't know, like like running about and turning the lights on for as many people as they can. Like, oh my gosh, look at this happened to me. I realized it, and I'm going to share this with passion. And sometimes it can come with rage or fear, right? And so with that, for all of you who are just waking up and blazing a path, right? Remember that. That there are still people that are sleeping and enraged that aren't going to be as receptive, right? And so remembering that with this passion, we need to also have grace and extend love. And one of the things that I have found most helpful for myself is to drop little seeds of information, right? And ways for people to make choices, to do the research on their own, because when we're waking up, and it's just like when you were waking up, right? You probably had something happen to you, and then you had to go and research it, or you had to feel it or go through it, right? And so remember, everybody is that same way. We want to share as much as we can, but sometimes it can be too much, right? You can red pill somebody and still be really gentle about it, right? It's about giving them a choice, and so keeping that in mind. But there are also times when, like topics in our house that we talk about here, can incite rage instantly. And when I see that happen, then oftentimes I'm seeing somebody being used as a black hole portal. And so this is an opportunity when someone doesn't hold their energy field, and also doesn't have a strong sense of their own belief system. I'm going to say that again, their own belief system. And so that means that you have genuinely reached into your spiritual self. You're working from your heart center. You're in alignment with Christ consciousness. And you know what the truth is. And there's a difference. There are different levels of understanding what truth is, but there is only one truth, and that is our goal to find on our own. And anytime we're cramming something, or anytime we are forcing something, then that is not in alignment to how we share the truth. I don't know if I'm saying that right. When we're challenging someone's truths or someone's belief systems, it's going to incite rage, generally because they're not in alignment with what the actual truth is, and now we're challenging the belief system that they've been indoctrinated into. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. If you have questions, then just shoot them below, because I'm going to post this. And I'd love to talk about it a little bit more in depth, and I'm just kind of going with it right now, and just kind of going with what's flowing into my mind. So getting out of groupthink is something that we're working towards, and that's something that has been very challenging in our time right now. Just hold for a second. Yeah, getting out of that groupthink, that mass consciousness, as we're moving into these awakening stages. And I think that the lockdowns have been amazing for so many of us to awaken. It's been a gentle way for a lot of people, but it's been challenging for some people. And the ones that it's really challenging for, they're likely dealing with different levels of fear. And so keep that in mind when we're sharing experiences and sharing our awakening. And but also with that, don't back down either, right? Like stand in your truth, stand in your light. And this is going to be a time, I know it has been for me, where people are challenging me, challenging my beliefs, challenging what I stand for. And I don't stand for tyranny, right? I don't stand for lies. I stand for truth. And I am in Christ consciousness, and I am in alignment with that, and with all that comes with that. And people have told me and continue to share with me that I'm harsh, that I'm inconsiderate, that I'm unkind, that I'm unloving, and that I need to be more compassionate. And you know what? I am all of those things. And just because I'm not doing it in a way that it's because I'm not backing down. It's because I'm standing in my power and standing in my truth and standing in my light and saying, no, I know that these are lies, and I'm not going to be duped anymore. I'm not going to allow my family, my human family, my Christic family, my starseed family. I'm not going to let. I'm going to hold the line. I'm going to hold the line. And so you can beat me down as much as you want. And unfortunately, my friends and family have been used as dark portals. Unfortunately, many people that I know are trapped in fear. And it's not going to make me change my mind. It's not going to make me back down. It's not going to sway me from standing in my power and standing in my light and speaking the truth everywhere I go in every moment. Okay, so and that's what ultimately this comes down to is, as we're slowly being aware and other people are slowly being aware of the controller groups, and that the walls are being broken down, the veil is thinning, reality is changing, that there is a time to extend compassion, and that's, holding that space and, being comforting, but still standing in your power and not allowing it to sway you. Don't allow yourself to go backwards once you start moving forward. And that's what a lot of, what is they're trying to do. Okay? So standing in your power, standing in that love, standing with the Christ consciousness, standing for that union of the divine masculine and divine feminine, and integrating that truth and integrating that, creating that alchemical union, right? Excuse me. So I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to sip of water here. I'm going to end this with just a little bit of light language. And when I use light language, generally what happens is all of the stuff that I just took the time to say often comes through in minutes. And on an energetic level, on a spiritual level, on a God level, we're able to comprehend this much faster, and some stuff can shift in our body, mind, spirit. So I'm just going to take a moment to connect in. Huanya hakanyan tunyan tinya halonya kalanomian tunya kana. Whoosh. Whoosh. Nyauna. Kanao Hansinya Luelan Kunyahanya Sia Unya Kalan Yohanyo Shoyo Uanya Kawanya Kawanya Wayahanya Sia Nya Unya Konya Unsia Unya Unya Kalanya Monya Unya Kola Unya Ansi Unya Ula Unya Untia Unya Unsia Uan Kya. That was beautiful, thank you. There's a different transmission coming through. This would be dragon energies that I work with. Uanya Unya Unkonya Nsia Un Tinya Un Kantin Tinya Unya Hans Shunta Nya Wala Wala Unya Unta 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 Nya Kankanya Sin Ya Unya Hala Una Antanta Un Kanya Un Chantia Unya Alan Nyan Tinya Hu Nya Untunya Klantian Tan Nta Nta. Thank you. I have a whole bunch of energies running through me. I'm a little shaky, so I'm just going to say thank you so much for your time. Thank you, beloveds, for bringing in messages, and thank you each for taking the time to listen. I hope that it was helpful, and I hope that it sparked some type of passion or memory reminder to stand in your power and be the loving being that you're here to be. So sending you so much love.